Let me tell you a story about a young man who had nothing, no money, no connections, no fancy education, just a cheap pair of shoes and a hunger in his eyes that nobody could quite understand. People looked at him and saw a nobody, just another face in the crowd. But what they didn't see was the fire inside, the unshakable belief that one day he would matter. One day, the world would know his name. Today, that same man is worth billions. His companies employ thousands. His ideas have changed industries. And yet, he hasn't forgotten where he came from. In fact, he'll be the first to tell you he knew they started ahead. He just refused to stay behind. So how does someone go from forgotten to legendary? How does a so-called nobody rise from obscurity to billionaire status? The answer isn't luck. It's not a secret shortcut, it's a mindset, a way of living, a relentless series of choices that stack up over years. If you want to know how he did it, keep watching because the blueprint is more real than you think. It all started in a cramped apartment the size of a closet. He was 21, broke, and working a job he hated. His bank account barely stayed above zero. Every time the rent was due, it felt like a game of survival. He ate the same 3 meals every week because it was all he could afford. But there was something different about him. While others complained, he observed. While others scrolled, he studied. Every night, while his roommates played video games or watched TV, he was glued to his old laptop, learning everything he could about business, psychology, leadership, and money. Most people underestimate what they can learn in a year. He didn't need read books cover to cover. He watched interviews with successful founders. He wrote down ideas in a notebook he carried everywhere. He wasn't waiting for motivation, he created momentum. Eventually he found an opportunity. It wasn't glamorous, just a small gap in the market he noticed during a side job he did on weekends. Most people would have ignored it. Too small, too niche, but he saw something different. He didn't have money to start, so he got creative. He borrowed tools, negotiated free trials, and reinvested every dollar he earned. Instead of spending his first profits, he poured them right back into the business. He didn't buy fancy clothes or a new phone. He bought more inventory, he improved the product. He talked to every customer personally. At first, it was a grind. Orders trickled in. Some months, barely anything happened. But it didn't stop. He refined his process, he optimized the website. He worked 10-hour shifts, then 10 more on the side. People told him he was crazy for working so hard on something that wasn't paying off yet. But what they didn't understand is that success always comes slowly, then all at once. After 2 years of relentless effort, something changed. One of his customers happened to be an Overnight, traffic exploded. He stayed up all night packing orders, replying to emails, fixing bugs on the site. Most people would panic. He thrived in the chaos. That viral moment didn't make him a billionaire, but it opened the first real door. It got him noticed. It attracted investors, partners, and opportunities he could never have imagined. And yet, he stayed grounded. He didn't blow the money, he scaled responsibly. He hired people who were smarter than him. He built systems, trained teams, and kept obsessing over the customer. What made him different wasn't just talent, it was obsession. While others chased trends, he chased mastery. While others wanted to look successful, he focused on becoming successful. Quietly, consistently, relentlessly. Years passed. His business grew. Then it expanded. What started as a side hustle became a global brand. But he didn't stop there. He diversified. He invested in startups, he acquired competitors, he ventured into technology, real estate, media. Every move was calculated, not rushed, not reactive, strategic. Here's the part most people don't realize. Becoming a billionaire isn't about one lucky break. It's about surviving long enough for all the small breaks to stack up. It's about discipline when no one's watching, about humility when everyone's praising you, about being obsessed with a mission. Even when the money starts rolling in, he still wakes up early, still works harder than most, still reads, still learns. Because to him, success isn't a destination. It's a responsibility, a duty to grow, to give back, to lead by example. So what can we learn from his journey? First, never underestimate where you are. You don't need a perfect background to build an extraordinary future. You need clarity, hunger, discipline. Most people get stuck waiting for permission, waiting for the stars to align. He didn't wait. He built momentum out of thin air. Second, skill beats hype. He didn't go viral by trying to be famous. He created something valuable, and that value spoke for itself. In a world full of noise, substance still wins. Third, your environment matters. He surrounded himself with thinkers, doers, and mentors. People who challenged him, not just supported him. He cut out distractions. He simplified his life to amplify his results. Fourth, discomfort is the price of growth. He said no to parties. He said yes to early mornings, late nights, awkward sales calls, failed experiments, and quiet weekends building what no one believed in. While others chased comfort, he built character. Fifth, reinvention is key. He didn't cling to one idea forever. He evolved, he pivoted, he stayed curious. In a fast-moving world, adaptability is more valuable than stubbornness. And finally, purpose. At the core of his journey wasn't just a desire to make money. It was a desire to build something meaningful, to prove what was possible, to show that your past doesn't define your potential. Look, this isn't just a story about business, it's a story about identity, about transformation, about who you become when you decide to stop making excuses and start taking action. You might not want to be a billionaire, that's fine, but the principles that got him there, those apply to anything. Whether you want to build a business, master a skill, change your career, or just stop feeling stuck, this story holds the blueprint. Start with what you have. Use what you know. Get brutally honest about your habits, your circle, your daily routine. Most people waste years waiting for motivation. Don't. Start small. Start messy. Just start. Understand that discipline isn't about punishment, it's about power. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you're building the future. Every hour spent on growth compounds. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually it explodes. Remember that failure is part of the process. He failed dozens of times, lost money, made bad decisions, but he never let failure become his identity. He used it, studied it, improved from it, and perhaps most important, stay patient. We live in a world obsessed with speed, fast likes, fast money, fast results. But the truth is, everything meaningful takes time. You don't plant a seed and expect a tree the next morning. You water it, you protect it, you wait. That's how billionaires are made. That's how lives are changed. So the next time you feel like a nobody, remember this. Greatness doesn't announce itself. It's born in quiet moments, in overlooked beginnings, in ordinary people who choose to live extraordinarily. That young man with nothing but a dream, he wasn't special. He just stayed consistent long enough for the world to notice. He bet on himself when no one else would. And now, he's the proof that it's possible. So ask yourself, what's stopping you? Because the difference between a nobody and a billionaire isn't luck, it's action, and the clock is ticking.